Are you ready for a reboot? Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. History reminds us those hit hardest often become the change makers. This year, we've all hit crazy economic, social, and emotional rock bottoms. We all get knocked down. Something hits globally, locally, personally. It affects our health, finances, our relationships. We have to recreate a business or career. Each show, Sheila and her special guest will be sharing their reboot stories, guiding you with real solutions to upgrade and up-level emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially. Here on NBC's KCAA Radio, Mondays at 1 and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time. If you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps and bra straps, enjoy a listen. Here's Sheila.
Hi, if you are just tuning in, this is the Sheila Mac Show here on NBC's KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. Like everyone, I have been itching to travel for a long time now. It's been a year since travel turned off completely and we all started sticking closer to home. I know that I'm not dying to go back to some packed resort and sit by the pool. But I do know that I need adventure in my life. I'm ready to get back out there and start exploring again in a safe and supported way. Lucky for us, travel is coming back in a very big way. With the American population well vaccinated by the end of May and many other countries on par, travel is set to take off real soon, here and globally. So it's time to start dreaming big and finding your travel community. Beyond the Nest is an innovative travel community built in the post-COVID world, built by two amazing open-hearted travelers and cross-generational women business leaders. They know that in a post-COVID world, people are going to want more than what travel used to offer. These women believe in the transformative power of travel. It has built and changed both of their lives, and they know that in 2021, people need this adventurous reboot. Beyond the Nest offers a series of bespoke international and domestic retreats for small groups who value education and luxury equally. Each retreat takes place at a 5-star venue and features renowned experts on the topics of the group's choosing and elusive experiences like hot air balloon rides over cathedrals and private artist-led gallery tours. Their motto is, "There's no reason your days of motivation, recalibration, and adventure can't end with a 5-star on-site massage." Yes, I love that motto. Beyond the Nest is already selling out spots for their first few trips. And let me just say, if you want to rethink your passions, rediscover the power of community, and really harness the next chapter of you need to get there. Their first retreat looks absolutely out of this world beautiful. They're headed to famed town of San Miguel de Allendale, Mexico. Have you ever been or seen this place? Talk about enchanting cobblestone alleyways and adorable local shops. It's no wonder this is a global destination and an expat hotspot. Beyond the Nest has a stunning 2-acre private estate along with private cars and drivers, BTN staff, and even someone to coordinate your travel. I definitely wouldn't mind having someone set my first international post-COVID flights up for me. Their first 2 retreats are Flying the Coop, which is aimed at helping people rethink their nest. We've been quarantined, we've been nesting nonstop, and now that the world is returning to normal, it's time to rethink what we want our empty nest to look like, where we want it to be, and how to make that lifestyle happen. The other is called Work from Home to Work from Anywhere. How many of us have started working at home since last year? Well, one thing the pandemic did is it sped up the remote revolution like none other. Now is the time to learn the skills you need to build a remote career, turn your home office set into a from anywhere setup and learn how to manage your newly remote business or team. The retreat will be handcrafted by the actual group from hundreds of workshops and concepts. The BTN goes to work finding just the right experts to suit the group's intellectual appetite, but their real appetite too, from chef-cooked breakfasts to sunset happy hours to home local cooking classes. You'll eat like a king on the Beyond the Nest retreat, from daily on-site yoga to trips to nationally renowned hot springs and vineyard wine tasting tours. It's basically summer camp for grown-ups, and I am so excited about it. I have been missing the feeling of exploring new places, taking in the sights and new people. Beyond the Nest handpicked some incredible locations for this year, from close to home with domestic retreats to the Caribbean this fall and Asia and then Europe in 2022. Now's the time to get in on their community. There are currently some specials going on. Beyond the Nest is offering our listeners here at the Sheila Mac Show 15% off. So 15% off on their San Miguel de Allendale retreat and 25% off a second reservation if you opt to come with a friend, spouse, or anyone you love who could really use a 5-star reboot. When you book a call to chat with them, use the code Sheila, SHEILA, for this offer. So hop on the site now, go to the bottom of the page, and schedule a call. That's www.beyondthenest.org. And remember to enter Sheila for 15% off your first spot, 25% off your second. Again, that's www.beyondthenest.org, or find them on Facebook at Go Beyond the Nest. Trust me, this will be the best gift you could give yourself or a loved one in your life this year. The Sheila Mac. Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show. And today we have special guest, Dr. Terri Levine, and she has over 30 best-selling books, and she is also my favorite heart-led heartrepreneur, business leader, and consultant. So welcome, Dr. Terri. She is going to share with us today about how to go from wanting to die back to excitement. So tell us more about that.
Well, first, it's great to be with you, Sheila. Thanks for having me. So my story is, I always considered myself a very positive person. I've worked on myself since I'm 15 years old, and my life was rolling like 16 years ago. I remember to the day. I was feeling great. I was driving to my personal trainer and thought, I wish I have such a blessed life. It's just so wonderful. It's so perfect. And I was working out, and I tore my Achilles, which shouldn't have been such a big deal, and yet it was. So when I tore my Achilles, I waited in the hospital for 3 hours until they were able to see me, and I went into shock. And as soon as I went into shock, they finally saw me. And for whatever reason, I started screaming and screaming from the pain and screaming from the pain. And the long story is, or the short story, that I ended up with a neurological disease called reflex sympathetic dystrophy, which comes from an orthopedic injury. And unfortunately, I got it. And so for 18 months of my life, I was unable to move or to walk. I was unable to wear clothes or to function. I was on 29 medications plus ketamine infusions, and that's elephant tranquilizer. So I was hallucinating all the time. It was horrible. And it came to the day where I said, I can't do this anymore. Even though I'm mentally and physically strong, the amount of pain is too much. And so I decided to take my life. I never thought I would do that in a million years. And I decided that I would write a suicide note to explain to my husband my why. And lo and behold, about an hour and a half after I typed what I thought was a suicide note, I read it. And I wrote a book called Magnetize. And then I kind of opened my eyes and said, okay, I'm not supposed to go. And I don't know what led me to go online and to start researching this disease, reflex sympathetic dystrophy. And I found that there were kids with this disease. And I said, gosh, Terri, stop having a pity party. Look outside yourself. Use your voice. Use the fact that you're an author, that you're a speaker and an influencer, and raise funds and help kids who need help getting out of this pain. That's my short and long story, Sheila.
That's really beautiful. It's interesting. I'm not sure why we have feedback, but my mic.
Yeah, I don't
try this.
I don't hear it on my end. My end sounds good.
Is it okay? All right. So how is this?
Much
is this
better.
Okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so it's the mic. It has an issue, and we're going to return. Interesting. Even my mic, it's like sometimes we have to have a new start. It sounds like it was a new start in your life where you shifted priorities, and my mic had to show that to everyone. It's like, see how that happens where, like this year, I think it's so important to have stories like this on here because this year people feel like giving up for various reasons, health reasons or other reasons. And what type of advice can you give to listeners that are feeling like there isn't hope right now?
Yeah, and I understand. I mean, I have a lot of friends and family in that situation. So first, just understand you're not alone, okay? Sometimes we think we're the only one going through something, so you're not alone. Second, think outside of yourself. Think about other things outside of whatever you're experiencing. So I use a little process called GID. Can I share that? Because it's really helped me. Yeah, okay. All right, so GID is G stands for gratitude. So no matter what is happening in your life right now, stop and give gratitude, even for the smallest things. Maybe you have heat or air conditioning or water or comfortable bed. Stop and give gratitude. And this is a practice to do every single day. The I in GID stands for intentions. Instead of a to-do list, set some intentions on how you choose to feel and experience your day. So if you say to yourself, I want to feel more joy, I want to feel more peace, and you set that intention, that will help you consciously make that choice. And D, GID, D is for delegations. And I don't mean go delegate something to an assistant or to a teammate. Delegate the how to the universe. Look, we don't exactly know the how of how is this pandemic going away. How I delegate that to the universe. I say, I don't quite understand any of this. And I know that you do. So figure it out. Keep us well, keep us healthy, keep us functional, and delegate it every day. GID. I will tell you, it makes a difference. It's transformed people's lives, and it's a simple process.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is so true. Last December in 2019, I lost my youngest son to a heart condition. And it really hit us all, especially the sister who's closest to him, and of course myself. And I mean, I had to force that gratitude the first few days. And I knew as a mom, having my kids back home and us together, healing through that process, the grieving process, I was like, what's 3 things you're grateful for? I want to hear it. And we go around the room and we would do that gratitude process. And it really did help us. It doesn't change the situation, but it changes the energy of how we're dealing with it and how we get to the other side of it faster. It really does.
It does. And this may sound odd to people. I still have RSD. It doesn't go away and there is no cure. However, it may sound really strange. I now look at it as a blessing, as something I'm grateful for. Why was I given this? Well, I can raise funds for kids. I have a following. I have a voice. I have money. Thank you for choosing me. And that may sound strange to anyone listening, and it really is true. And I didn't get there overnight. I want people to know that. It takes work and it takes the decision to really think outside of myself. And again, that process of gratitude. I remember, I was on the journey with you when you lost your son, and I saw you posting photos with your family and with your kids. And I knew that you were breathing into finding your way out. And that's what I offer to everyone is when you're in it, you may not see how to get out, and gratitude helps you get out.
Yes, it's an incredible gift. And it's the more you use that gratitude muscle, the stronger you get in other areas of your life. So now I know I'm one of your Heartrepreneur people, and I love your program. So do you want to share a little bit about what you're doing to help businesses stay heart focused this year?
Yeah, and particularly this year now more than ever. So many years ago, I created and founded Heartrepreneur, and I really founded it to disrupt how business is being done. In my experience, everything was a transaction. Oh, let me go get a client or a patient or a customer, and then let me go get the next one. And no one was really taking good care of their prospects, of their customers, of their vendors, of their team, of their employees. It became a very transactional world. So I started Heartrepreneur business consulting to really teach people how to do business in a totally different way without a lot of marketing and selling, just giving value, natural conversations, and people were expanding their businesses dramatically. They were making more money. They had more time freedom. They had real relationships and felt more valuable. Well, during this pandemic, we've been focused on this Heartrepreneur cause even more. There's about 5,100 people that are part of our community, Heartrepreneurs with Terri Levine, over on Facebook. It's our community. Anyone can feel free to join. We'd love to have you there. And what we do is we really help you see how to do business and life differently. More time freedom, more money freedom, and do business in a way that's easy, effortless, joyful, and fun.
That's great. Yes, and it's so true. I really resonated with that because I was like, that's what I'm looking for is people first. That's really all that matters when you're able to have one of your books and one of your things, or when I do my things, if it goes and it helps just one person, that's made my day. That's made it all worthwhile, and it makes all the difference. So I'm so grateful that you made that switch years ago when you first got that diagnosis, and that you're here and you've helped so many people. And that's the thing. I think sometimes we feel like this year is never going to end. I'm sure we all feel like, come on, 2020, we're done. But there will be the other side to this. So what we're doing now as business leaders, if you're working and you're on a team, you are the leader with the energy that you're bringing to your team, to your coworkers, to the environment you're in. If you're now working from home and you have children and they're still home with you because of the school regulations where you live, the energy that you bring as the leader of your home and your business is going to shift the energy your children have, your coworkers, your employees, your clients. They feel that. And that's going to make a huge difference this year. More than ever, we need to step up and really show what we're made of. And unfortunately, we've seen other people be very emotional. How do you deal, Terri, with those people that are on the negative to switch it around?
It's so interesting that you asked that. Yeah, it's interesting because I posted on my personal page on Facebook today about that. And I'm getting a lot of interesting comments. So here's the way I'm treating it. People seem very opinionated nowadays. People seem very strong about what they believe, whether it's political or it's about wearing a mask, not wearing a mask, my freedoms, my rights. I stand here now. I believe what I believe. You believe what you believe. I've stopped trying to convince anyone to believe what I believe. What I believe is right for me, what you believe is right for you. As long as we are really keeping mindful of humanity and the greater good, I don't care what someone believes, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone and it's not harmful to humanity. So the piece that I urge, and I say to my client family members all the time, is just exit anything that's toxic, especially nowadays. Focus on bringing more things into your experience that lift you up, that empower you, whether it be music or family or friends. And I know sometimes we can't see and hug each other right now. Zoom, we see facial expressions and eyes. Do whatever you can to be uplifted. Tune into things that are uplifting, podcasts, etc. It's really time for you to take control of your emotions. And can I share just a little bit of a process from About to Break?
Yes, beautiful.
Thanks. So, last November 2019, my book came out. That is my autobiography. That whole story is in there. And it's called About to Break, The Path to True Forgiveness. And in my book, I share my story very transparently. And in addition, I teach literally the path to true forgiveness, what it is that you do. And the first thing that I can tell you is before you can forgive other people or the world experience or whatever's happening, you must start by forgiving yourself. So take a moment today, look in the mirror, look right into your eyes, and just say these words: I forgive you for anything that has happened in your life that you've done, said. Forgive yourself, love yourself. We're having a human experience. You don't need to be perfect.
Yes, and I have that book. And do you have a new book coming out soon? Do you want to share about that?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I did something really unusual, right? I've written so many books, and I was introduced to a crowdfunding platform for a book. I've never done that before. And when the pandemic started, we had over 600 business owners raising their hands, asking for help. And I'm like, oh, we can't take on 600 people. So I wrote my exact conversion equation formula, how it is we get tons of prospects, how it is that they convert to sales without us selling, and how we not only make a lot of money, we really help other people and we have time freedom. I decided to write it. So I wrote it into a book and I crowdfunded it, which I've never done. We sold 600 books, exactly 600 in 4 weeks. And that book now, I'm in negotiations with 4 different traditional publishers. I believe I will select the one I'm going with on Monday. We're negotiating the advances. And the book should be out in about 8 weeks, and it will be called Conversion Equation.
Wonderful. Wow, we'll share about that when it comes out here. That's great.
Thank you. Yay.
Yes. So now let's think about this. So you're writing books. I think people that are doing traditional jobs now are going to their passions. That's the beauty of this universal pause is, okay, now I'm going to write that book. Now I'm going to do the podcast or somehow connect or do business, share my talents. Do you have any suggestions for people getting started in something new like that? It's new for them.
You know, first of all, you said something so important. Believe it or not, there is a blessing in all this craziness, right? There, if we really look at the whole pandemic world, there are some things that are amazing and awesome, and we're having more free time. A gentleman told me today he slept more hours than he's ever slept. He's been with his kids more than he's been because they're home from college. So focus on the good things, right? The second thing is I really recommend that you make a list and do it with a pen and a piece of paper, because when you keyboard, you only use one hemisphere of the brain. And when you write, you use both and you're more creative. Make a list of everything you've been passionate about decade by decade. For some of us, it's more decades. So when I was like 0 to 10, I loved pretend and Barbie dolls and dress up. Write all that down. Then what did you do from 10 to 20, 20 to 30, et cetera, et cetera. And then go back and look for themes. So let me just give an example. I've been now in the coaching and consulting field for about 26 years, and I was in other fields prior to that. And I finally decided years ago, I am done just doing work that doesn't have meaning. So I asked myself, what's my passion? And I did this exercise decade by decade. And what showed up for me is that I loved helping people, motivating people, and I also loved creating. And I was really good at creating businesses. It became really clear, really evident how to take my passion. And then if you need help turning that into profits, turn to someone like me or another mentor or business advisor, strategist who can help you do that. It's actually a great time to start a business. So don't let your passion sit there. It's time to do something with your passion.
Yes, and I think that it's really important to also be okay with doing what you need to do to get your needs met. Don't just spend all your money on a new business.
Yes.
Go in with some wisdom and slowly. But the beauty is that gives you time to really create what's right, and everything does show up in perfect time. And exactly when people are ready to hear your message or your music, see your talents. So it will unfold in perfect time if you just give it a decent amount, even if it's a couple hours a day. You'll start to build an incredible business in a safe and healthy way this year.
I love
So
that advice.
yeah. All right. Well, it is now. What is the new message that you have for moms and people that are, or people in a relationship, even dealing with now? You have maybe your spouse home, and you're working from home, and you don't get to go out as much, so you don't have that "I can't wait to see you again." You're like, okay, could you please leave this room? Is there any advice? It sounds like you've been married a long time. You have a beautiful relationship. I love that. And so do you have any advice to people dealing with this change in how we do business and at home and how we have relationships?
What a great question. Yeah. So the first thing I'll say is, have a little bit of patience, right? Because it is unusual. I've never worked from home with my husband. And all of a sudden I'm like, well, there's somebody else here. I want my privacy. And I think he felt the same way. And so what I recommend that you do is first look at what boundaries you personally need. How much free time do you need? How much quiet do you need? And the second thing is to then communicate that, right? So after we're adapting to being together at home, we both realized that we needed some space. And so we honored that. I need my quiet time. He needs his quiet time. Honor that, and then ask for what you want. It's all about communicating with heart. So, for example, I said to my husband, Mark, I actually love that you're working at home. Like, I've never gotten to see you this much. It's fantastic. What I would like is for you not to come in my office, because sometimes I'm on a show and, you're wandering around, and I will honor that you're in another office, the other part of the house. I will honor that. If you need me, text me, and if I'm available, I'll be there. So it was my first. And my second was, I would love to have lunch with you every single day. So let's schedule a lunchtime. So ask for what you need. And if you need some additional downtime for yourself, take that time. Even if there's other people in your home, you need a rest, you need some quiet, you need to meditate, do what you need to do, because you have to take care of yourself first.
Yes, and I love that. Ask for help when you need it this year, especially.
Yes.
That's a good slogan, whether it's even with your children or your spouse, your significant other, your loved ones, or just reaching out to a friend. I can't imagine anybody not wanting to talk. If somebody called and said, hey, I need to talk to someone right now, I would definitely make myself available. And I think that sometimes people are afraid to say, hey, you know what? I'm feeling like I just need to talk to someone. I need some support. Okay.
Yeah. Ask for what you need. Reach your hand out. For some reason, we broke up a little bit here. So ask for what you need. Put your hand out, and don't be afraid to ask for what you need. People do pitch in. I hope we didn't lose Sheila. I'm not sure how we're doing here, but I'm still here, and I don't see Sheila or hear Sheila anymore. All right, so we're going to assume that everybody else is still here. And I think we've lost our amazing host. So give it another minute, see if she comes back. And I'll just finish with my message really is that you have excitement within you. you have something amazing. There's no reason that you were created if not to offer the world something amazing. Don't give up hope. Ask for what you need. People care. You matter. And if there's anything I said today that's useful or you want to connect more, the best place to connect is I have a very active community of Heartrepreneurs, and I would invite you in there. Sheila's also in there. And that's on Facebook, Heartrepreneurs with Terri Levine. She's back! She's back. Yay.
I found out I was on the wrong internet channel. I have a special studio, but what does that mean? There's always a meaning to everything. So sometimes we may just be on the wrong channel. And that's okay. So what do we need to listen for or look for to align? So aligning with heart-centered business leaders out there is very important. Aligning with people that go with your core values, life purpose, and mission is such an important thing. Your peer group is everything. So make sure that you go toward the positive and don't focus on anything that's negative, because that will bring you to the next level in your business and life. So do you want to, I know you were sharing a little bit, and I thank you for continuing on in the show. Yes. So I know we're coming to the half hour here. So what do you want to share about as you say goodbye to our audience? And I hope to have you back when your new book comes out to share about that.
So I was sharing as we lost you, I really do invite every listener to come join us on the Facebook group Heartrepreneurs with Terri Levine. We have about 5,100 people. You're not alone. There's a community of like-minded people, and whether it's business help, life help, relationship health, there's just everyone in there helping one another, heart to heart. And if you're a person who needs any kind of help and you're open and you're curious, come join our community. Let's be stronger together.
Yes. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I really appreciate it, Terri. Welcome to the Sheila Mac Show. This is Sheila Mac, your host here on NBC's KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. And today I'd like to give a special shout out thank you to my friends at Too Legitimate to Quit podcast. What does Star Trek, Frozen, or Lady Gaga have to do with running a small business? More than you might think. I've recently discovered Too Legitimate to Quit, and I simply can't get enough of this podcast. Each episode features Annie P. Ruggles, the founder of the Non-Sleazy Sales Academy, and a guest who teaches from their zone of genius and then presents their pop culture parallel. My favorite part is that every episode ends with actionable homework that small business owners can and should sink their teeth into immediately. I most recently listened to On Persistence, Talent, and Dave Matthews Band, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking to grow a lasting brand and unforgettable brand experience. Too Legitimate to Quit is available wherever you listen to podcasts and at toolegitimate2quit.com. Okay.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. So if life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.
We're back from halftime here on the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. And now we are ready to give this week's situation the boot and help you get back into action. So if you're ready to pull yourself up by the bootstraps or the bra straps, take a listen now. Welcome back to the Sheila Mac Show. I'm Sheila, your host, and today we had special guest Dr. Terri Levine of Heartrepreneurs, a serial author and someone who has rebooted after hitting a rock bottom with a serious health situation and getting back into even more excitement, where now she is living in contribution, helping children with RHS disease, and also helping business leaders to lead heart-centered, heartfelt, heartrepreneur style businesses. So now, one of the things that happened is we want to run this through the Boots formula. And before we get to that, I want to share a little bit about my own situation, where years ago, I also went through a health challenge where I was told I could lose my life. So I was very young, and I found out that I had a terrible kidney infection somehow, and that was causing my blood to be poisoned. And at that same time, I also found out that I was pregnant with my first child. And it was an interesting situation because everybody left me at the hospital and never came back. Days went by, and nobody even came to visit me as far as the baby's daddy or any of that. And so I had to decide for myself. First of all, I fought with the doctors because they wanted to terminate the pregnancy, and they said there was no hope. And I was yelling at these 5 older male doctors at the Women's County Hospital in California. And this intern walked by, a lady, and she was studying medicine. And she said, well, what about this new drug? It was Cipro, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And so they said, all right, we will try that and see. And that saved me. But I really feel like it went beyond that to my thinking and mindset, because, I kind of felt pretty bad being all alone in the hospital. And this year, it kind of mirrors what I experienced in a way, because a lot of people have to go to the hospital all alone during the COVID challenge this year. And it's very hard to not be with your loved ones when they aren't feeling well. Thank goodness we have ways to connect via phone and social media still in some instances. Yet I did get to experience that. And I did feel very challenged and alone and scared as this young mother-to-be who could have lost her life. And, that night things got better. The medication worked. The next morning I was feeling better, although I was in the hospital for close to 3 months because it was very, very touch and go with this pregnancy. And the infection. So I was there, and I ended up borrowing robes. They gave me extra robes, and I'm walking around with my IV drip, and, they're very understaffed, at least back then. And so they had given me permission to give waters out to the patients. And so on the entire floor, I would hand out waters and check their chart. They showed me how to do this. This is crazy back then. And they sometimes they could get juice, but if they had sugar issues, that it'd have a note. And I got to meet all the other patients who were also alone. And I realized that when I was in contribution, I was thankful for making it through the night and being alive. And then I realized, instead of being alone and feeling sorry for myself, I went out and started helping other people in contribution. And it shifted how I got through that hospital stay that year, or the 3 months. And so that made a big difference. And I knew mentally that I needed to get out of my own pity party and help other people. And I started making friends, and I wasn't alone anymore in the hospital. So that's what happened for me. So it's that moment where you could say, hey, everybody walked out on me. I'm all alone. Nobody's checked on me. And, I have to sit there and be lonely, or decide to go make friends. And now, you can make friends and connect with your loved ones, friends, or new people, even through social media and the phone. So there are many ways to get back on track, even through a tough health situation. And Dr. Terri shared about how she was diagnosed with this RHS and found out that young children have it and suffer greatly. So she's a great contributor to that organization to help these young children to get resources and help they need to heal through that. So in contribution, it seems like that tends to help us with our mindset. So let's put this through the Boots formula. So in the Boots formula, the first part of the formula is B for being. It's about who you're being and all you're doing and who you need to be during this situation. So at that time, I had to be really strong and make a choice as this young girl in a hospital to be loving, to be kind, and to get out of my own situation and help others. I knew that love energy was part of my own healing process and something I wanted my unborn baby to also experience. And then it was the order. The next is O for order of operations in the Boots formula. And so that was me having to kind of sit there and say, hey, wait a minute, nobody showed up. And this is what it is. It's not better than it is. It's not worse than it is. Obviously, I had friends, but they were, also very young and not quite where I was at. So, they were still in school and having parties and this and that. I was about 18 at the time. And so I couldn't really rely on them. And I think this year we all kind of have that where there's certain people that aren't really available for us and we need to connect. So ask for help where you need it and also connect to others who may need to hear from you. So that was my order of operations is, okay, it's not better than it is or worse than it is. This is what it is. And then I decided the action steps I was going to take to connect to people where I was at. All the nurses and doctors loved me. They probably kept me extra long just because I was so involved and brought good energy to the whole floor. So the next O in the Boots formula is for order of operations. So that's the order in which we do things. First thing I had to do was get myself back on track. And, I fought for figuring something out. And because of that, I was able to get help and get through that and not have a worse situation. So that was the order in which I did things. And as I was able to, the doctor approved of me to walk around with I literally was dragging the IV with me on the floor, greeting other patients. And I thought, wow, that's an order in which we do things. And that healed me. Just connecting with other people for me was part of my mental healing. While I was in this hospital, instead of it being a dark place, it became a bright place. And it was just part of, this is where I'm placed for this reason. And maybe there's some patients here that I need to connect to. And so that made a big difference. And the next thing was the T in the Boots formula is for thinking. That's the mindset. The mindset of, am I going to stay in this bed and feel bad that nobody ever visited me or checked to see if I lived or died that night? Or am I going to just decide that, hey, I'm going to give loving energy to this unborn child at the time and also to all the patients and doctors and nurses on the floor. And that was the thinking that I think really got me through that very difficult 3 months of being isolated in the hospital. And it kind of again mirrors what we're going on this year, where we had a few months, depending on where you live on the planet, of really being stuck and locked in isolation in our homes. And so, I had practice. and so it's deciding how you're going to show up, and your mindset is going to really make a difference this year. How do we reboot 2020 is how you show up as a parent, as an employee, as the leader of your team or business. That energy is going to affect everybody that you come in contact with. And I think we need to be even more grounded and positive in our thinking right now, because people are scared, they're in fear, they're lashing out. I mean, my daughter had her tax person literally yell at her and say, fix it yourself. And she paid for her taxes to be done. And she was like, wow, what is this? I've never heard of this. And, and I was like, you know what? It's this year. And it has nothing to do with my daughter or me or the tax lady even. She just kind of lost it. And it's just interesting how you'll see this show up even on social media as people take sides. And there really is no sides in the round world. That was something that Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say all the time. And so there really isn't sides in our round world. There's all people trying to get to safety and to the right place during this time, and they're going about it in different ways. And okay, so the last letter in the Boots formula is the S, and that's for stepping up. That's the moment where Dr. Terri talked about, she decided, instead of, she was literally considering taking her own life, and when she wrote out this suicide note, she decided to write a book to help people instead. And then she stepped into helping children with RHS instead of staying in bed and just feeling sorry for herself or giving up. And that shifted everything. So it's stepping up. She had to take action. And for me, I had to step up and borrow a funny looking robe. Think about when you were 18 years old and how, style and fashion matters. And it was like this old used robe that they gave me. I'm sure it was clean. And every day I'd go help the other patients and talk to the nurses and doctors. And so that was stepping into whatever showed up in my life at that time. Things were very undecided and uncertain for me. Was I even going to keep my little garage apartment back then, going to school and working and everything. And so just like now, things kind of mirror themselves. And so think about times in your life other than this year where you've had a rock bottom situation of one situation or another, and how you showed up in order to shift that and get into a new place in your business or personal life. And call that person in, call those energies and talents into this year to get back on track. That is the Boots formula. And I hope that helps you this week. For whoever's listening who may be going through a health issue or going through another situation due to this crazy year, stay tuned and stick with it, because things are going to get better. And just start taking small action steps, because that action alone is going to get you moving back into the right direction. So I hope this helps. Now, next week, we are going to hear from Australia and my incredible media queen friend. She is a former newscaster. She has written many best-selling books, and she is known as the media queen. She will be sharing about a time in her own life where she was struggling with depression, and she also had some suicidal thoughts, and now she was able to switch that around. That was her rock bottom. And she was able to switch that around and get back on track, take action. And now she's helping other people to share their message as the media queen. And she is also doing a lot to help animals. And so she has a whole foundation and program to help animals get help. And she has her own new news station, which is the Good News, that she's sharing to bring good news, good articles, good information, and happy news to our energy this year. So I look forward to interviewing her next week and having her on the show. And until then, thank you for tuning in to the Sheila Mac Show, where you are going to learn how to rebuild, reinvent, and reboot your life on your terms this year. Until then, I look forward to seeing you, and I wish you life, love, laughter, and light.
Thank you. And I wanted to take a moment to reflect on one of my favorite authors and quotes. The quote is, "Create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you're ready or not to put this plan into action." And the author was Napoleon Hill. Now, my memory, or my first meeting with Napoleon Hill, was actually back when I was 8 years old, and I did actually mention it in my new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. This was such a changing point in my life. I was 8 years old. I was living house to house. My family was not. My mother and father were having health issues. They weren't really able to care for me full time. So I was sent from one relative's house to the other. Sometimes I was with the healthy grandparents. Sometimes I was with a group of grandparents that wasn't so healthy, and there was a lot of abuse going on. And at this point, I was 8 years old. I remember I was actually in a nice neighborhood. Unfortunately, the home had a lot of abuse going on. My mother was home with me for a short time, and I had taken up some little part-time jobs helping out in the neighborhood. So I would literally, this is back in the day when this was, I guess, the normal thing, I would go help out with cutting the lawn or cleaning and actually polishing furniture when people actually did that. And I would go do that for the neighbors and get money. And so I went with my hard-earned money, and I went over to another neighbor's house who was having a garage sale, and I found this incredible book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you are just tuning in, this is the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest. Here we have real people sharing real stories and actionable steps to help you reinvent, rebuild, and reboot your business and personal life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac. All right, and if you are just tuning in, this is Sheila Mac Show, and this is KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no listener behind. Now, I'd like to share with you, if you are a business leader and you are looking for a mastermind course, your best group business leadership opportunity with me, Sheila Mac. Once you enroll in my newest course, this is a leadership course for business leaders to keep your teams, employees, and groups not only motivated, but out of procrastination, actually producing more, actually wanting to be at work and really involved. Then this is the mastermind course for you. Let me tell you a little bit more about it. Once you enroll in this course, you'll be enrolled in a weekly live meeting with me, Sheila, and a small group of aligned business leaders. This program is a monthly program, yet it is most beneficial to play full out and be in the program for the full 1-year process. As a course member, you will receive additional benefits, such as an opportunity to share your wins with the group, and, if you would like, an opportunity to share about your business wins on NBC's Sheila Mac Show, now on radio and TV platforms. In addition to working with me in a small group setting weekly, this is live, this is not a recording. This is actually live, so we get to work on your business situations, your business leadership situations right away as things show up in your business and needs arise. So with that, you will learn to network and use the Boots formula as a way to lead your business to even better results this year, while you also enjoy diverse conversations and opportunities to collaborate and cross-pollinate ideas with like-minded leaders in other fields that are related. They are like-minded business leaders. They are also taking the steps to secure a solid foundation in these very new times. This is an unparalleled opportunity for networking. There's a limited yet exclusive group of serious players worldwide that will be in these courses, and these course members also provide the unprecedented opportunity to network with and learn from me and master business leaders from around the globe. So I will be having special guests show up on some of our mastermind courses to share about different leadership, marketing, and business models, and so that will be very helpful. And you also, the other thing is, we're going to learn to create the workplace and business leadership environment that your employees and your clients will celebrate for a lifetime. Think about it. We spend more hours at work than we do at home, resting or having fun. So let's make work fun. And that's the important part of leadership in business. How do you make getting the job done fun? So this is an annual commitment. This business leadership mastermind course is an opportunity to receive a personalized level of coaching from me at a very fair price. You get to boost your influential power and exceed your sales goal. You get to master the skills of business leadership and influence in a commitment to bring all of your leadership skills to your business. We also do the tough self-work, such as reviewing the arts of sales, breaking down barriers in all the new ways we are now running businesses. Yeah, think about it. Things have changed so much. Now we're working from home. So you have employees working from home. There's so many different new rules that we have to stay on top of together as leaders and keep people motivated through changing and interesting times. Think about it. Your team spends more hours at work than relaxing at home. Leading your group to even more success and helping them by being able to see and break down barriers while you exert powerful influence on other people and, most importantly, over yourself. You will no longer be fighting with the words no and the lack of employee commitment and motivation. That's gone forever. With this mastermind course, you will get the edge over your competitors and help your business grow, and your personal abundance factor will also grow geometrically. So check out this course and other related courses. They're all available at www.sheilamac.com. And if you sign up now, you lock in the New Year's pricing for the year. This special pricing is only good for the rest of this month, and then that goes away. But if you lock in, that is the monthly price that you would pay every month, that discounted price, which is 1/3 the normal course price. And so that is a really good way to get into a group, and I would love to work with you in one of our small business leadership mastermind groups. I look forward to seeing you on one of the mastermind courses. And if you are just starting out and would like to get the book, check out my new book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation. And I do have an entire chapter on how to use the Boots formula for your career and business leadership. All right. Thank you again for tuning in. As always, I wish you life, love, laughter, and light.
This episode of the Sheila Mac Show was brought to you with special thanks from the following sponsors: Beyond the Nest. Start your travel lifestyle now at www.beyondthenest.org. Also, Too Legitimate to Quit. Listen to the podcast that helps you and your business at www.toollegitimatetoquit.com. And of course, from my latest best-selling book, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, the formula to go from rock bottom back into action in any situation.
Have you lost your job? Have you lost a loved one? Are you exhausted caring for your parents, for your kids? Well, you can find immediate relief when you read Sheila Mac's new #1 bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps. It contains the Boots formula to move from rock bottom back into action in any situation, especially right now. If life has knocked you down, pick yourself up with Bootstraps and Bra Straps. Get your copy at www.sheilamac.com today.
I have to let you know something, just between you and me. This book is not one size fits all, just like a pair of boots or a bra. So the formula is designed to help you through any situation.
Thank you for tuning in to the Sheila Mac Show, reality at its finest, where we share real situations with real solutions to help you rebuild, reinvent, and reboot your life on your terms. I'm your host, Sheila Mac. I'm giving you some homework. Grab a copy of my bestseller, Bootstraps and Bra Straps, to learn the formula to go from rock bottom and back into action in any situation. If you have a burning question for the show, send it in to www.dearsheila.com. Tune in again Mondays at 1 p.m. Pacific Time and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Pacific Time, right here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.